Welcome to The Explainer, everybody. I am absolutely thrilled you're tuning in today because we're tackling something literally almost all of us have to face at some point. And let's be totally honest here, it can be incredibly stressful, right? I'm talking about the airport check-in counter. Our goal today is actually pretty simple. We're going to take a super fast-paced, real-world airport check-in dialogue and just completely deconstruct it. We're transforming what usually feels like this chaotic, stressful exchange into a highly practical, easy-to-use linguistic toolkit.
Now, I really want to point out just how overwhelming this giant wall of unpunctuated, rapid-fire English looks. I mean, when you actually step up to that counter, this is exactly what it sounds like in real life. There are absolutely no periods, no commas, just this absolute barrage of information coming right at you while a line of, really impatient travelers taps their feet right behind you. Well, this is the exact problem we're solving today. We are going to completely slice through this wall of text.
Okay, let's dive into this. To conquer all that chaos, here's our game plan for today. 1. Approaching the check-in counter. 2. Navigating sudden flight delays. 3. Securing your preferred seat. 4. The great luggage question. 5. Decoding your boarding pass. And finally, 6. Finding the security checkpoint.
All right, kicking things off with Section 1, Approaching the check-in counter. Breaking the ice.
So, let's look at the very first phase of your journey as a passenger, breaking the ice and establishing why you're even standing there in the first place. I want to reassure you right off the bat, this chaotic interaction actually follows a strict, highly logical, chronological formula. Seriously, once you see the structure, you really can't unsee it. Here's your perfect opening script. Notice how beautifully efficient this exchange actually is. The passenger literally states just two things: their destination, Los Angeles, and their time, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Boom. That is all the context the agent needs. And in response, the agent doesn't launch into some long, formal greeting. Nope. It's just a direct request for verification. Can I see your passport, please? By anticipating this exact back and forth, you can entirely eliminate all that awkward fumbling at the start of your interaction.
Moving right along to Section 2, Navigating Sudden Flight Delays, or as I like to call it, when math causes panic.
Okay, so you've handed over your passport and you smartly ask if the flight is on time. Well, this brings us directly to a situation that usually causes immediate panic, navigating a sudden flight delay. And this brilliantly illustrates how to untangle the confusing, fast-paced math of a cascading delay. Because when the agent tells you your flight's been delayed about 30 minutes, your brain just instantly starts spinning, right? But look at how this breaks down. Your original departure was 2 p.m. The delay is 30 minutes. But the truly crucial piece of information the agent gives a bit later in the conversation is the actual new boarding time, which is 2:15 p.m. Visualizing this math really calms the nerves. The delay simply shifts your window. Having this mental timeline completely prevents you from missing that new, highly specific 2:15 p.m. boarding mark.
Up next is number 3, securing your preferred seat and taking control.
Now, this is an incredibly empowering moment where you actually take control and solve a potential comfort problem just by successfully requesting a specific seating preference. I really want to isolate this exact phrase because aisle seat is what I'd call a high-value travel noun. The passenger specifically asks, "Do you have any aisle seats available?" Guys, this is a supreme victory in travel negotiation. By knowing this exact definition, a seat situated right along the walkway for easy access, and then confidently dropping it right into the middle of the agent's rapid workflow, our passenger guarantees they won't be trapped by the window, or worst case scenario, stuck in the dreaded middle seat. It's just one simple question, but it drastically changes the entire quality of your trip.
All right, moving to number 4, the great luggage question, tackling the physical logistics.
Continuing our chronological journey, we finally arrive at the physical logistics. The paperwork is sorted, the seat is locked in, and now the agent asks the inevitable question: do you have any check-in luggage? Let's really contrast these two crucial concepts, because the entire physical flow of your airport experience completely depends on this distinction. Check-in luggage disappears onto the plane, meaning it needs tags and has to meet weight limits. But a carry-on bag? That stays right with you in the cabin. Our specific passenger answers, no, just one carry-on bag. And this response is absolutely fantastic because it's so definitive. It immediately signals to the agent that they can just totally skip the baggage tagging process entirely, which drastically speeds up the rest of the interaction.
On to Section 5, Decoding Your Boarding Pass, the official document.
So we are finally entering the resolution phase of this check-in interaction. This is the big moment. The agent reaches across the counter and hands over your official documentation. Let's spotlight another absolutely crucial travel noun here: Your boarding pass is literally the ultimate goal of this entire conversation. Without this official printed document confirming your flight details, there is absolutely no way you're getting on that aircraft. But think about it. What specifically on this document actually matters right now in this exact moment as you're physically walking away from the desk?
Now, what's really interesting about this part of the conversation is how it perfectly extracts the exact two pieces of data the agent emphasizes right before you leave the counter. Look, out of all those barcodes, sequence numbers, and dense airline jargon printed all over that pass, the agent verbally highlights just these two specific things. Your boarding time is at 2:15 p.m., and your gate number is T27. That's it. If you walk away remembering absolutely nothing else but these two data points, you have exactly what you need to successfully make your flight.
And that brings us to Section 6, finding the security checkpoint, the final step.
Okay, you've got your boarding pass in hand, but now you actually have to physically leave the check-in counter and find the next distinct area of the airport. When the passenger asks which way is security check, notice the beautifully straightforward real-world directional English the agent uses to guide them. They say, right behind you, to the left, sir. Honestly, there are no complex terminal maps here, no confusing spatial jargon. It's just simple spatial orientation relative to exactly where the passenger is currently standing. It really is the perfect, clean conclusion to the whole interaction.
So let's see how this all beautifully builds into our final framework. Check out these 5 simple steps. Present ID and passport, confirm flight status, request seat preference, declare luggage, and finally, get pass and directions. So the crucial takeaway here is that we've essentially just built a chronological memory palace together. Remember that massive, super intimidating wall of unpunctuated text from the beginning of our explainer? Turns out it's really just these 5 totally predictable, logical steps. Mastering this structured flow is quite literally the difference between a smooth, confident start to your vacation and a high-stress, sweat-inducing nightmare right at the check-in counter.
And while that brings us to the end of our breakdown, you now have the vocabulary, the situational maps, and the absolute chronological logic to navigate this exact exchange with total, unflinching confidence. You know the formula inside and out now. So I'm going to leave you with this final thought. Next time you step up to that counter, will you be ready to take the aisle seat? Thank you so much for joining me in this explainer today. I really hope your next trip through the terminal is your smoothest one yet. Keep learning, keep exploring, and I will definitely see you next time.